And welcome, everybody, to the Huddle, KGO9's weekly streaming sports talk show, coming to you from Tucson, Arizona, home of the best college basketball team in the country. I'm Jason Barr, joined by Pat Parris. Good afternoon, Pat.
Hi, Jason. Remember when you said on the air yesterday on KGO9 that I could call you out because you predicted that BYU would beat Arizona? Well, I'm calling you out.
I'm glad you are. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad I'm wrong. I thought this was a roadblock here for Arizona, and boy, they kept DeBonsa in check. And Richie Saunders fell out of the game, and Braden Burries made the big play on Robert Wright at the end. So Arizona, big credit. I'm so glad they won. I was rooting for them hard. It's just so hard to go through the season unbeaten. I thought that this will trip them up. All right, with that being said, let's start off with our Huddle poll question. You go to kgod9.com or our X account and vote. We're going to have the answers at the end of our show. After a 21-0 start, who is your Arizona basketball midseason MVP? Jaden Bradley, Koa Pete, or Braden Burries? Or you could write in something else if you really feel that minute that CD Gay played at the end of the first half in order to keep everybody out of foul trouble was big too. I think most people are going to go with Jaden Bradley, though.
Yeah, I had a real hard time with this one because I think Braden Burries has been I think he's been their best player the last couple of weeks. And that's not to take anything away from Jaden Bradley. But he's been their best player predominantly over the last 2 weeks. But Jaden Bradley
on those road games where Bradley came up big in the second half.
But let me finish. I get to expand on that. So while Braden Burries has been so terrific, both offensively and defensively, rebounding especially, Braden Burries is still a young player. He's going to have a little bit of ups and downs. Jaden Bradley has been the glue of this team for a couple of years now. And he's really become an offensive threat, not just at ends of games, throughout the games. And I thought last night was one of his most complete games on both ends of the floor. He had the tie-up that shouldn't have been a tie-up. It should have been a foul and, at the end of the game and all that. But for the most part, Jaden Bradley has been the best player pretty much all season long. And I think he got my nod. But I can't say that without saying how excited I am about the play of Braden Burries.
And Koa Pete's had a tremendous season, of course, starting
absolutely. And so is Mo Krivas. We didn't even put him on the list. Now, Mo Krivas was shut down last night because that's what BYU does. They take away your bigs and they make your guards beat you, and our guards beat them.
Okay, so you go to X and vote, and like I said, we'll have the answers at the end. I really like Braden Burries' mindset. He thinks of himself as a big-time player, and he thinks of himself as a big-time player who didn't come through really for this team early in the season. And so his comment after the game was like, gosh, the way my teammates have done for me, the beginning of the season is all I could do to do it now for them. Like, he thinks of himself as in a big time way as this prime time player who should be putting up numbers like this in every game. I do like his mindset. He really is a winner.
You're talking about Burries or Bradley?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Burries. No, Burries.
That's what I thought you said. Yeah,
Burries,
right. He said, but he also has the mindset. He said last night too after the game is he comes into the game thinking I'm going to take it right to him because I'm the best player on the floor. I mean, basically is what he's saying, and I love that about him in his game. This is a kid too. We talk so much about DeBonsa and we talk about Koa Pete and the team, USA basketball and how great they did and all that's terrific. But that next level guy that was just barely behind him was Braden Burries, who played all the AAU teams, played these guys, played in California, played in Arizona, and I think his confidence grew out of that. And I think he came in, and you saw it in even in early practices all the way through those early season games. This is a kid who Maybe that first game against Florida kind of got a little lost, but right after that, he was good to go. I was surprised at how quickly he turned the page on that and got the confidence back, and you could just see it grow over that November timeframe. That by the time he got to December, he was a legit player, and now this is a kid who's moving up the draft board too, but more importantly, he's what's got you really excited about what this team can do, not only down the stretch here now, 11 games to go, but into March and hopefully into April as well.
Yeah, he just had to adjust to the speed of the game. And so he's a legitimate threat now, just on both sides of the ball. We saw it offensively, of course, last night, and then the big time play that he made at the end to save the game. I thought that he had two big fouls, if you will, against him, late in that game. Yeah. One was a flagrant on Bonsa, who Tommy Lloyd kind of defended the play afterwards. He's like, "What are we supposed to let him dunk or let him have an and one? We're just trying to prevent him from scoring there." And yeah, he went a little aggressive, maybe on it, but he wasn't doing anything malicious there. No, that was a flagrant foul. But the other one on the 3-point shot, that was a bad call to me. It looked
that's like a bad call, and that same. I believe it was the same officiating crew. We're going way back to probably mid-December. I don't remember which game it was here at McHale. It was the only other time we've had Tony Padilla as an official, or at least at McHale, and it was mid-December somewhere, maybe Abilene or something like that. And the same thing happened. One of their guards takes a three and kicks the foot out, and we get called for the foul. And I don't understand why the NBA officials can see that, but the college officials don't see that. And it's absolutely not a foul on the defender when the offensive player kicks a leg out in an awkward way to draw the contact. Burris was already by him. He let up, like, I'm not going to touch him, went by him, the leg kicks out, he gets called for a foul. And that is just awful officiating. And I don't want to we can talk all night, all afternoon about the officiating last night. But those are the calls that really peeve me, because those are easy to spot. We all see it. How come they can't see it?
You know what I'm curious, Pat? I want to throw a name at you, and I'm curious if this name has popped into your head regarding Tony Padilla. Angel Hernandez.
Yeah.
Tony West is another. We'll explain.
And Tony West is another one of those longtime umpires who get this reputation of being so great at their job, but they end up not being that great. And the players know it, and the managers in baseball knew it. And it always becomes such an incendiary time when you have them calling the balls and strikes. They're behind the plate. You hate when those umpires were behind the plate. I think Tony Padilla is that way a little bit. We didn't even notice Tony Padilla, right? Most of the game. But sure enough, here we go down the stretch. We noticed Tony Padilla.
Your name can't become a verb. Like, it can't be like Google. Like, you're going to Google something or Netflix and chill. You can't be Padilla'd. Like, if your name has become a verb on social media, there's something wrong. We don't want to know who those officials are.
No, and I don't want to get into it. They won the game.
And the other one was the call on Bradley. But Pat, there were a couple of bad calls that went Arizona's way.
There's no question. I think the officiating got a little shaky down the stretch.
I thought Fran Fraschilla called a great game.
I did too. I've always liked him, even though the Caleb Love shot. He said he went too far as he launched the ball. He's like, too far, and the ball went in a year ago today. I thought that the game call was terrific. I thought Arizona's play was terrific till the last minute. We don't have to go deep into that. That's what BYU does. BYU always makes a comeback. That's why you build.
Funky has to happen. If you're going to blow, the clock stopped with 1 minute and 11 to go, because I remember thinking in my head, ones are wild. 1:11 to go. There was an 11-point lead.
Right.
You can't give up an 11-point lead in 1:11 unless something funky happens.
But you have a kid who doesn't
3-point kick out and
the 3-point kick out. Even before that, I think part of that run, I can't remember the exact way it happened, but there was a BYU kid who hit 2 threes in that final 2 minutes almost back to back, and he hadn't hit threes in weeks. So all of a sudden you get 6 from him. You get the 3-point play. Devonta only made 1 of those, but it stops the clock. The and one with their big was like, come on, you can't have that happen. There's a lot of things that happen, but that's why you build at one point a 19-point lead, but you had that 13-point halftime lead. That's why you have the 14-point. You have to build that lead, and your mentality has to be, we got to keep double-digit lead as long as we can because BYU is going to come back. And because they built the lead that they did, they were able to somehow withstand it. And I know Braden Burries makes that great defensive play. Otherwise, they may have taken the lead, and we're talking about Arizona having to come up with another miraculous shot. But the bottom line is they had the lead. They managed to maintain that lead, and they won the game.
How concerned are you that they're pretty much only getting contributions from 6 players now? Del Orso, 4th game out of 5. He doesn't score. He had an air ball. Aristode, he's not really, maybe
he's a good defender now. He is a good defender. He is playing his way into some minutes because he can defend, but he's not an offensive threat.
Yeah. So they're really only getting offense from 6 guys.
Yeah. And I'm not concerned. Jason, look, they can
win.
Gone
backwards though, because Del Orso and Aristode were scoring more earlier in the season.
Yeah, but look how they win these games. Can you tell me that there's a blueprint every game that they're going to, this is how Arizona's going to win the game? It's different every single time. Yeah. And when you have 6 guys that can be the leading scorer on any given night, then to me, that says, what are you going to do against Arizona? If you're defending Arizona, what are you going to do? Are you going to have to hope that if you hack and launch threes, eventually you're going to cut into the lead? You're going to run out of fouls and you're going to run out of time, which BYU did in essence. I think this team, you can find some nitpicky things, about this team, but the bottom line is they can win so many different ways. Take away the inside game, they beat you from the mid-range and out. Take away the outside game, they beat you inside. They'll kill you inside because of the big. So I love this team. Best team decades, Jason. This is the best team we've seen for decades.
Yeah, Jason Barr, Pat Parris here on the Huddle. So to clarify that, this matches, people are wondering, does this match the school record, break it, tie it? There's some debate. Okay, so 21-0, they're tied for the best start to the season with a 13-14 team. They're still 1 win away from the school record for consecutive wins. That was 22 in a row. It was not during modern times. It was more than 100 years ago when Pop McKell was the coach. You look at the record books and it's, 1914 to 1917, where they played 7 games a year or whatever it was. Yeah. So really they do have the modern record.
They do have the record because, Jason, that's like you remember the Tiger Slam. Does it really count when it's 2 in 1 year and 2 in the next season? Does it count when it takes 3 years to get 22 wins? Basketball was different back then. They didn't have to go to BYU. They didn't have to play Kansas twice. They didn't have to play Houston and Iowa State. I mean,
they're playing church leagues, I think. Anyway, you could say they have the modern record, but I don't think really you're going to have to worry about that because in 13-14, they were 21-0 and then lost the tough test at Cal. This team won the tough test last night. I'm not saying going to ASU is going to be easy, but ASU is not BYU. All right, Pat, we're going to go now with our 2-minute segment. One of the new things we have for this year, by the way, we're going to debut something new next week too, in addition to this. But we're going to go. Producer Ryan's going to give us our 2-minute warning, and we have not seen, Pat and I have not seen these ahead of time, so it's instant reaction. Cue the music, Ryan.
Sure.
Okay, 2-minute drill. First down. What was the reason Arizona loses its first game? Offense, defense, rebounding, turnovers, or the referees? Listen, we've got to go process of elimination here. It's not going to be rebounding.
No, it's not going to be rebounding.
Can't believe it would be defense. I would have to say it would be a night the shots aren't falling.
Yeah.
And I would just have to give it to offense. Just on a night the shots aren't falling on the road.
All right. I'm gonna take a little different twist with. I'm gonna say you're probably right. It probably be because shots aren't falling or a key shot doesn't fall, but I'm gonna blame the refs because that's what's gonna happen. I'll blame the refs. Shots aren't falling because that's what I do. That's what fans. It was the case
last year at home against BYU. All right, second down now. Will Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos reach another AFC championship game? That's a good one, Ryan. Will Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos reach another AFC championship game?
I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say yes, because that defense is good. That defense is really good. And Bo Nix will be back. I think they have an opportunity, but it better happen in the next year or so, because Sean Payton's not getting any younger, and free agency means you can't hold everybody together for very long. So they got a chance again next year.
I'll take the other side and say no. The Chiefs are going to rebuild for the second half of Mahomes' career. The Patriots have a good young team, and I'll take the other side. No.
All right.
Third down. What is more needed, a salary cap in the NLE or changes to NIL and NCAA?
Yes, both actually. But
yeah, really good question. Ryan, you're on a roll. You need something in Major League Baseball. I mean, now. What's going on with the Dodgers here is crazy.
It's crazy.
And you have no shot now if you're Pittsburgh. The only shot that you have now, I wouldn't say you have no shot. You do have a shot if you can get through that regular season, because anything can happen in a short postseason series.
Yeah.
So
Dodgers almost lost. Yeah, Dodgers almost lost this last World Series. Yeah. They almost lost.
So you do have that. But as far as the competitive balance in the regular season, I think everybody knows this is not right. But are changes to NIL going to happen in college sports? Yes. But that's a little bit more fluid and still ongoing. This is just a situation that's just kind of getting out of hand and worse, I would say, with the salary cap.
And that's what I'll echo that, and I'll add to it, and I'll say where Major League Baseball is right now with the Dodgers is where NIL and the NCAA is headed, but they're pretty far behind that kind of thing where you just throw so much money at it that nobody else can even come close to competing. We're not at that level yet, but be careful, because that's not far away. The NCAA needs to do something, and something fairly soon, or they're going to get to where Major League Baseball is.
Yeah, I mean, these players, 4 years, 4 different schools is just over the top.
Yeah,
okay, fourth down, 4th and goal. What is the best and worst hire of the NFL coaching search so far? I mean, how you can go wrong with the Giants with getting John Harbaugh and his record? That'd be the best.
That would be the best. There's no question. That's the best hire.
And I know you don't like McCarthy, but did you see him choke it up coaching his hometown team now in Pittsburgh?
And Jason, my whole thing on Mike McCarthy is not that he isn't going to be a good coach for the short term. He just goes against everything the Steelers have done for the last 50 years, and that is young, defensive-minded guys that are going to be there for 20 years or more, and that's not Mike McCarthy. So it just goes against the grain. But he's going to have a short time to prove that he still has what it takes. He had success in Green Bay. He had a moderate amount of success in Dallas under a horrible ownership in Dallas. So we'll see what he can do in Pittsburgh. I don't think that's the worst hire. I just think that's a very lackluster, ho-hum hire. And even in Pittsburgh, it drew a lot of what?
Yes, I'm going with John Harbaugh for the best hire. I don't have a worst hire. The whole search isn't over yet.
Correct.
How about I could go with the worst, the way that the Buffalo Bills, obviously that news conference was a mess.
Yeah.
We fired the coach because we lost, but we didn't lose the game really because of the referees.
Yes.
It's kind of a messy situation.
So now let's promote the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, now they're promoting the offensive coordinator. And so, I think they kind of have not looked good, with the situation so far. And what, like I said last week, somebody is going to regret their coaching change. For a third of the league to change coaches is way too much. Okay.
Well, how about we throw this out there too, Jason? The Cleveland Browns can't even get a candidate to continue in the process. They all bow out as soon as they do an interview. So the Cleveland Browns are in real trouble. I don't know what they're going to do.
One of 4 teams to have never been in a Super Bowl. You know who the other 3 are?
I forget. I used to know this.
Houston Texans.
Detroit.
Houston Texans, Detroit, the Cleveland Browns. And Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That's right. Those are the 4 teams. Oh, with an
Well,
asterisk, because obviously
two of them are
Detroit's a different
expansions.
situation. They've been
Yeah,
there
Detroit's
forever.
been one of the original teams in the
The others
in
are
the
fairly
NFL.
new.
They've never been.
Poor Detroit.
So, yeah.
Okay. We'll give our Super Bowl predictions next week. We still have another week to do it. Boy, you look at the Patriots and you say, boy, they look at the quarterbacks they've beaten. They've never had to beat a top quarterback, but they've also beaten three of the five top defenses in the playoffs. I think they got a big break when Denver didn't kick the field goal to go up 10-0. I think that really would have hurt them. But listen, you're going to get breaks. You're going to get breaks, and they're there. And they started their rebuild long after the Jets did, and some other teams. And here they are, back in the Super Bowl with now what is the third different coach quarterback combination to make it under Robert Kraft. Bledsoe Parcells won, and then Brady and Belichick 6 in New England. Brady had a 7th in Tampa, and actually, I'm sorry, 9. So 11. I'm sorry, 11 different times they've made the Super Bowl in Robert Kraft because Belichick and Brady made it 9 times, won 6 and lost 3.
Yes.
And then Bledsoe Parcells lost 1, and now here is Vrabel and Drake May. My favorite joke for the hiring, if we would go back to the hiring, my favorite joke is if only the Tennessee Titans could get a really good coach, a coach like Mike Vrabel. That'd be
who they already had.
That's my
they already had.
Yep.
So the Steeler fan in me doesn't want the Patriots to win another Super Bowl. So I'll try to take that out of the equation.
Is it 6 each? Do the Steelers have 6?
The Steelers got to 6 first. Yeah, the Steelers got to 6 first.
Okay, because they had 4 with Chuck Noll, and they had 2 with Roethlisberger, right? And Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, they had 1 with Cowher and 1 with Tomlin when Tomlin was just there.
Wait, did Cowher win that? I thought
Cowher won a Super Bowl. Bill Cowher won a Super Bowl with Jerome Bettis and with Hines Ward and Roethlisberger, and then they won again with Roethlisberger. Was that like 3 seasons later? Maybe the second or third year for Tomlin, and then So
they have 6 and the Patriots have 6.
Yeah, it was the Santonio Holmes catch against the Cardinals was the last time that they won the Super Bowl.
That's right. Okay. Yeah.
But I'll say this, taking all that out of the equation, just purely looking at 2 teams that I have no, affiliation with, no hatred, no love, whatever. I think the Seahawks are far and away the better team. Will that translate? We'll talk about it next week. We'll see.
So as for next week, we are trying to get a guest. We're going to try something new next week. We're going to put Pat. Oops, I thought I silenced that. We're going to put Pat and me in the same room next week.
Yeah.
We've always been in separate rooms. This is what, the 5th year of the Huddle or the 6th year?
I think so.
We've always been in separate rooms. I don't know how I'm going to yell at Pat sitting right next to me.
But we're still going to be this far apart, so we'll be a little far.
We're just going to try some new things here, and we're going to try that, and they'll probably look a little different and look a little better. Our engineers at Kagon are working on it, and the lighting looks fantastic, and so we're excited about just debuting a little bit of a fresh look for next week. We're going to try to find some theme music. It's a little harder than it sounds because not only does it have to be good, but we also have to deal with copyright issues. But we're going to try with that. We've added the 2-minute huddle here, the 2-minute warning,
which I love. Which
is going well. And like I said, we're going to try we've already put in a request for a guest for next week, and so we're going to try some different things as we go along. And once we try a couple things and we stick, we're going to promote it a little bit more. So we're excited about what's ahead in 2026 for the Huddle.
Let me leave you with a couple of things, Jason.
Yes.
Couple of things that I find very interesting about this University of Arizona basketball team before we leave. They don't play again till Saturday against ASU, which is nice. They need a break. 3 games in that short a time. They need some time off. Tommy Lloyd even said he's looking forward to a couple of days off.
I heard it.
They're 21-0, 8-0 in conference, number 1 in the AP, unanimous number 1. They've been number 1 in Ken Palm for the last week. Last night's win, they went to 9-0 in quad 1 wins. They actually moved up to number 1 in the NCAA net rankings for the first time this season. They do play 7.
How are they not number 1 in the NCAA net rankings?
Because Duke was ahead of them because they were 9-1 in quad one wins, and Arizona was 8-0. It just, for whatever reason, they needed to get more wins against those upper echelon teams. We went through that spell there, playing Abilene Christian all the way through, Utah, K-State, even Arizona State. That doesn't help you in the net rankings. Now they're finally facing teams. And on that note, 7 of the final 11 games here in the regular season, the conference season, are against ranked opponents. So their net ranking will go up even higher if they continue to win. Even if you lose 1 or 2 of those games, it doesn't hurt you all that much. But the big stat that I find interesting, they've won now 8 conference games, right? They're 8-0. The teams they play the next game, when they beat them the next game, they also lose. The teams are 0-6 in the games after they play Arizona. We're still waiting for West Virginia. They play tonight at K-State. Can they stop the trend of losing a game right after losing to Arizona? And then BYU plays at Kansas on Saturday. Can they stop the trend of losing? So my point is, Arizona is a very physical team, as we know, and Arizona wears you out. Is there a hangover? Do you feel worn out after you play Arizona? Because they're not faring very well after they play Arizona either.
Yeah, no, I actually thought both teams looked a little tired at the end of the game yesterday.
Well, that's 3 games in 5 days, right? They're not really used to that. They're used to a couple of games, a Wednesday, Saturday, something like that. But Wednesday, Saturday, Monday, that's brutal.
All right, let's finish up with a Huddle poll question. Who do you think is Arizona's midseason MVP? We think this is going to skew heavily towards Jaden Bradley, but also with a couple of votes for Braden Burries and Koa Pete. And that's about what it is.
About what I would think. Yep.
Yeah, Burries is the leading scorer. A big game last night.
Yep.
And Koa Pete's a big man who's done a lot. So I think that sounds about right.
Sometime we should do a poll question on probably at the end of the season, which of these guys, and you'll have to add a couple of names to this list too, but which of these guys are going to have the best NBA careers? Because there's some thought that Koa Pete will have a better NBA career eventually, just because of being a power forward and how dominant he could be, or how much of an impact player he could be at that next level, versus some of the other guys that'll be drafted obviously in the first round.
Yeah, I'm the only one who's noticed this too, but I see a lot of similarities between Koa Pete and Aaron Gordon. In their freshman year.
You said that yesterday, and a light bulb went off in my mind. I thought the same thing. I thought, Koa Pete came in highly touted, 5-star, one of the top, 8 players in the country, still considered a top 10 pick. But Aaron Gordon, also a highly touted player, but his best work has come as a pro, not as a collegiate. He was a very good college player at Arizona. Don't get me wrong, but
do you know what Aaron Gordon's knock on Aaron Gordon was going into Arizona? That all he could do was dunk. I'm not kidding you. And so I actually remember media day, and so that we got one-on-ones with him, and I actually asked Aaron Gordon. We're going back 12, 13 years here.
Yep.
Media day going into his freshman year. I said to him, what do you think of this knock on you that all you could do is dunk? And he laughed and he said, I think that's so ridiculous. Obviously, I can do this, that, and the other thing. And he mentioned what it is.
And he can.
But that was the knock. And so, you could do a little knock on Koa Pete. He shoots 62% or whatever it is from the free throw line. He's not a great looking shot, but watch that improve over time.
He hit a real key shot. I don't know if it was 4 minutes to go last night, where he at the end of the shot clock,
it's gonna fall away a little bit. Yeah,
a little fall away, elevated. I think it was over Saunders maybe. But anyway, it was a tough shot, and his there's not a lot of arc. It's kind of a line drive shot. It either goes in or it doesn't.
Right.
And that's what his free throw. I wish he'd put a little more elevation on his.
Coach Tommy, let's get a little more arc on Koa Pete.
Tommy, let's go.
How about what would be his reaction to that in the newser? What?
Oh, he would rip us apart. I wouldn't even suggest it. But
since when did you become Mr. Naismith? Okay. Hey, we're out of time. A lot of fun. We're going to be back next week, same time. Probably a new studio, cool look, and we're looking forward to it. For Pat, I'm Jason. We're going to see you next time.